Hello, everyone. Hello, AI enthusiast. Welcome to AI Data Podcast. Uh, I am Puneet Jindal, your host today. So we have a special guest today with us, Priyanka Makani. She's a powerhouse in the world of machine learning, specialized in healthcare and medical imaging. Before we deep dive into the fascinating insights she is about to share, let me give you a sneak peek into what's in the store. So, we'll be talking through Priyanka's journey in the machine learning landscape, exploring the challenges she has conquered, and gaining invaluable advice for aspiring engineers in healthcare AI. So, stick around as we touch upon the empowering experiences of women in STEM and AI.
Thanks, Vinny.
Okay, so why don't you actually start with a quick introduction for our audience so they can know you better quickly in maybe in just 1 minute?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I am Priyanka, and I'm a senior machine learning engineer working for Idea Evolver. My path or my career path has been sticking around roles of machine learning, AI, and data science. So I have a experience for a little over 4.5 years working in the US. I graduated with a degree in computer science from Chicago, and I also hold a bachelor's degree in the same. My journey or like my passion, I'm being very passionate about like healthcare industry, and I have close to 3 years of experience just working in healthcare industry itself. And I would just want to keep continuing doing the same what I do.
Cool. Thank you, Priyanka. So, Priyanka, why don't you actually talk about that pivotal moment where you actually entered into this journey, right? Some very, put some more light on how it happened, that very moment, right? I'm sure the audience would be excited to and curious to know about that.
Oh, sure. So, like, I got interested into machine learning a little before when I was like applying for my master's program, and I was looking through coursework from different universities that I was interested in. And surprisingly, Introduction to Machine Learning got my attention. So, which was my first ever coursework as a deeper to learn more about like machine learning itself. And it was like I would say a brave and bold move, as would my seniors would say at then, that taking up such a course. It's like around 2017, and machine learning was still thrown around as a jargon. Not a lot of people would know about it. Not a lot of help you would get, or like career counseling you would get, because only PhD students would specialize in machine learning or artificial intelligence. But it got me like a eureka moment of my life that I really want to pursue my career into it. I although loved computer science and algorithms, but I don't want to mix those two together because a lot of statistics and mathematics also goes around when you want to specialize in machine learning and artificial intelligence, and also having a deeper understanding of different data as well. So that was like and that's like history. And since then I've been very much focused on like polishing up myself, because it's always like you're always like a student when you want to step into computer science, I would say, and definitely want to pursue it with data science and artificial intelligence. So some of the factors that really like motivated me throughout my coursework were like having those personal projects, also deciding to go on hackathons, and also making sure that I am building my profile towards what I really want. So targeting specific companies, where I would make sure that my first career step would be into AI. So which I was fortunate enough, right from my internship through my full-time roles, I've been working in this industry in AI, and especially from past 2 years or 3 years, I would say that I got very much passionate about healthcare industry. So that comes like a later part when you want to have a career trajectory in AI itself, like you want to do generalization versus specialization. So this is kind of like a strategic challenge, I would say, that at the onset of your career that you would want to decide that you want to specialize in a niche area like computer vision or natural language processing, or you want to have like a broader set of skills and still be able to wear many hats in a day. So since then, yeah, it has been like a good career growth for me, and like I said, like healthcare is something that I'm very passionate about.
Okay, cool. So that leads to me, in fact, two follow-up questions, especially from a aspiring audience. One, someone who is interning somewhere in the AI space, right? The question is always like they keep figuring, should I go for masters? So I mean, someone who hasn't done masters, right? Even I keep getting this question often. um, I'm thinking, I go for masters, I gain 2 3 more years of more experience. I don't know, I'm sure your juniors might have reached out to you already, right, regarding this question. So that's one question that usually comes out, and then would love to hear your thoughts on the same.
So I would like kind of um, again, like it's coming from my personal experience. Uh, so there are two ways to see it. Firstly, if you want to pursue master's degree with an intent of going for a PhD, then definitely that's the only way to navigate your PhD program is going through a master's program, and then you continue from thereafter. But if you're very set upon that you want to stick to industry setting and you are like confident enough with your skill set, and it's going to ever growing, because once you get into industry and you are like learning hands-on experience with tools and platforms that are required for a data scientist or a machine learning engineer, then I guess I would personally skip that step of like again taking a step back, or like and going towards a 2-year committed program, because then the stakes are high as well, because then the job search could be difficult depending on like economic climate or like
Yeah.
which country you land up in. So there are two ways to see to it. I was pretty much set on like coming to the States. This was my personal choice. And I also had a very vague idea towards stepping into like research space as well. Fortunately, my full-time roles have always been at the intersection of research and development. So I did not pursue a path to PhD, but in my industry setting, I'm kind of doing the same. So I would recommend people who are very research savvy would want to go to and take this path. There is no harm in that as well.
Okay, cool, cool. And the second question is usually, oh, should I focus more from, say, I want to focus on the horizontal, skills, saying I just want to be in more computer vision or in NLP, or should I look at from a perspective of like, okay, healthcare industry or that industry or agriculture industry, right? So because that's where is again the new question that keep coming in their mind. So what is your thoughts on that? And probably you can answer why you chose healthcare industry. What was the motivation behind that, and maybe that might help the audience. Yeah.
This, be it computer vision, be it natural language processing, it comes down to those numbers. How do you process your algorithms on top of it and try to make key, insightful, and actionable, results out of it? So that's the key area that I would want people to focus more, rather than worrying about like, should I, on the onset of my career, should focus just on computer vision and natural language processing. I believe that you should be able to adapt as well, because even if you're working on a any project for a tech giant, there are different data sources that they also get in. It could be multimodal. So
Right.
be prepared to be thrown a gauntlet of a challenge to you anytime, and that's the key to it again is like to learn and tackle that data. So that's pretty much important, and that's what like I guess is demanded even throughout any recruiting process when you are like going through an interview process for any machine learning role, that if you are given such and such data, what would you do with it? So that's the key aspect of understanding that where you would want to set your foot. And again, it's good to have some sort of like experience or to be called as a veteran in the industry, be it in healthcare or be it in automation. So that's great to have, but you need to understand that the basics is always the data. So try to, first focus on that.
Cool, cool. And one interesting aspect that I've seen also, and maybe you can again clear the air around that thought. I'm a machine learning engineer. Uh, Working on fixing the data is not my job; it's a data engineer's job. What are your thoughts on this?
Like we do hear about like data scientists just specifically just working on data side of the problem, and then machine learning engineers working on model architecture and like modeling of these algorithms. But I guess these roles are sometimes just used interchangeably, so don't get confused. Meaning that if you are a data scientist, then you might end up also doing some modeling and architecture stuff, and also a machine learning engineer definitely has to work around the data too.
Right, right. And in your case, if I ask you, right, looking at your past projects, how much percentage has been where you have been spending your time in the algorithms versus the data?
To be very honest, like especially when it comes to healthcare industry, don't expect very clean label data sets like dogs and cats available on the internet to just download, and then you have like gazillion of data to train on. But healthcare data itself is very intricate. It's also not everybody can understand, because again, we are not coming from a background in medicine or pharmaceutical. So there are a lot of understanding that goes into it. And then there have been times where I have also cleaned up, annotated, shipped the data, and then used it for my machine learning models. So there could be cases that you need to do right from annotating your data, labeling the data, cleaning it up, um, and then you have to use your machine learning models on top of that. So I would say that yes, there have been cases where I have been spending 50% of my time just on data itself, and then 50% would go on modeling.
Okay, okay. And in general, as a team, for any AI project development, uh, let's say just to even build one or two models, iterations of the healthcare AI space. How much has been the percentage effort for data versus again the algorithms uh, collectively as a team, right from data
Um,
collection to the deployment?
Absolutely. So I guess it has, what I observed is like it's an iterative process again, meaning that even when you start a data pipeline and then you keep continuing your efforts on like modeling, and then you have like a version one of a model based on the data that you got. And then there are some more nuances to data itself that you find out later. And then you go back and then, fix that. And then it goes on and then again. So what I've observed, even as a team, it's like uh, strategically these tasks are assigned, so that one is, or like couple of team members is of course pretty much have the hang on in terms of like how to deal with the data itself, even when there is something that is, there is some sort of like a data error, then how would you want to tackle that or like debug that kind of a problem? And then there's some few experts in the team who would mostly take care of the architecture, but also have knowledge of what's going on in the data pipeline too. So I would say that yes, that's how the team is usually divided. Even though most of the team members know what's going on, but there are few experts that are assigned to one of the tasks.
Okay. Good. And one another question, how do I, so when looking out at any opportunity, right, in the industry, right, um, how do I choose a team, one team where there is more, I mean, domain experts, but probably I will be the only one, or someone else will be the only one who will be machine learning engineer. But then there is an idealistic view of, oh, there will be very big team of ML scientists, data engineers, and so and less of domain experts probably, in a setup, right? Depends on the organization structure. So these are kind of the choices that come across in front of the audience, right? Aspiring audience. So how do you think? What is your suggestion on this? How do someone would go about exploring that opportunity? Which one they should choose if they have both the options?
I guess firstly, it depends on the size of the project as well, and how much wealth of data that you will be dealing with. And of course, having domain experts is always like a bonus point, especially those who have like years of experience plus a PhD in the same, because it comes with its own advantages of like learning or like diving deep into what's going on in the data itself, because there have been cases where I've seen that physics have been involved in machine learning models, or like some sort of like biomedical engineering is involved. So I'm not a domain expert in that, but I might be good at understanding what kind of model architecture to use. But to understand those little nuances, what goes on around like in the first principles of computer science or physics, or like even understanding biomedical engineering is always an add-on to the team. Again, it could be just focusing in terms of understanding novel approaches, how to take the problem through. Because even when you're working on an R&D problem in industry setting, you are time bound. So you
Yeah,
would want to make sure that the resources are utilized optimally throughout.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So business is always wanted yesterday, so it has to be done timely. Though ML development process is an experimental process and
Yep.
not a very certain outcome-oriented process. Yeah, cool,
Yeah, the good
cool.
thing about it is that, even from your failures, you learn a lot. So
Yes,
that's a good part about like being in this space, that to some extent, yes, it's black box. People do talk about transparency, and we also focus on transparency, especially in healthcare AI, because the stakes are high. So you need to
yes.
make sure that if you crack open a machine learning model, what do you see, and how do you explain to a medical professional?
Okay, okay, good, good. So another follow-up question, though I didn't have this question in mind earlier. So, but very interesting one. You working in healthcare, the end impact is safety, health of someone, right? Uh, do you have, while developing these models, do you also feel some sort of emotions which capture around you, especially like, okay, what if this model doesn't work in that the expected way?
Being a technical professional, I'm not a medical professional yet, is firstly understanding how do you like evaluate your models. So in machine learning, we call as matrix. Do you want to focus on accuracy, or do you want to focus on precision? So what are these stakes? So you want to just focus on recall. So this all kind of is a game changer in terms of how do you finally present your model higher up, and then you are confident enough to go about and go for like beta testing, or like even go for another round of testing on these models.
If you look back on your this journey, right? What are the top three challenges that has occurred in your career, um, whether in terms of the technical aspect, if I mean from a technical standpoint. Second, navigate through working along with the other team members. So both, so more of a technical aspect as well as a professional management aspect. So yeah, if you can put some light on those.
Yeah, I guess when I was just starting with my like job search, when I was still a graduate student, so I guess the first thing that I faced was lacking industry experience. So I was still a master's student then, and oftentimes recruiters do want to have some hands-on experience. But what really helped me was like getting the right internship or participating in hackathons or having your own personal projects, building your own profile so that you are kind of setting stone for yourself and would want to be ready for any interviews for full-time roles, so that you're able to at least prove yourself that you're able to bring those academic theories and work on real-world problems. Again, the pivotal role of understanding the specialization that I want in my career. Computer science is great. Then, of course, started with machine learning. That's great. But then, what do I really want to do out of it? So, understanding that I really wanted to pursue career in healthcare industry. So it might take years for someone, or it might be pretty quick for someone. So it's really like case to case, and sooner you know what's your calling, so it's better.
Cool, cool. And another question that I have here is, if you can talk about some specific scenario of a project, like what was the data like, on a high level, and what is the problem statement like, what has to be, for example, predicted, and then any specific challenge that you faced there, and how did you solve it? So maybe more in summary, if you can talk about generic in a generic way.
I guess in my last company, we were working on this robotic surgical tool platform, which is very fancy. It was my first time approach on working on hyperspectral imaging data. So this
Okay.
is unlike those RGB fancy images, or not even like X-ray images or like CT images. I worked on like CT images before, but this
Okay.
was altogether something different. So it's like different wavelengths captured, and it's like a cube, as you can imagine, of data. So it's like with multiple channels, and then you need to, and you can't even see in a regular viewer, like a photo editor, what's going on, because
Okay.
these are different wavelengths. And the task was to identify some critical structures during the surgery and alert the surgeon on time, because it's navigating through some surgical tools. So you need to
Oh.
understand what's going on in real time, and also inform the surgeon if there's going to be any catastrophic damage that's going to happen. So this was my first time approach of working on data like that, and it was really interesting to work on it. Of course, came with its own
Very unique.
challenges, very unique, and still it was in its R&D phase. Cannot discuss much more about it.
Yeah.
So, um, but I guess, like I said, coming back to a question that you posed earlier, that you need some domain experts. So thankfully, in my team, there were some domain experts to help me understand this kind of data, and understanding physics, spectrometry, biomedical engineering behind it. That was altogether, going back to a classroom, and then, going through. I literally had to go through some of the books and like research papers on it. But I guess the key challenges to that particular problem was, again, like the domain expertise that was required, and then even creating the data pipeline from scratch, and then of course the modeling um, was there.
Okay. So in duration, just to quantify it, was it, how does it look like months, and how many months or weeks this
I get
whole
I
was?
guess the most time was taken for like the data itself. Again, like it was done in like I would say in chunks. So there isn't like a specific number that I can, on top of my head, that I can say that okay, these number of weeks we would spend on it. But I would roughly estimate that 50% again was gone through, just data itself, cleaning up, labeling, annotating, and then I would say roughly 30% on modeling, and I guess 20% was always improvement, or like post hoc analysis, as we would say that, to understand how the results are, what can we improve. So that's how we
Okay.
got about it.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. So I went through your one of your LinkedIn post about you sharing thoughts around powerhouse women and Michelle Obama, right, on stage. What was it, and how was the experience like? So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty interesting in this year. I was reached out to like share my thoughts on like women in STEM. I've been kind of like part of like various organizations. Even during my master's program, I conducted one machine learning workshop, and then after that, I was a speaker in one of the events in Bay Area, and also Bay Area ambassador for women of AI. Um,
Cool.
so it has been like it's kind of like giving back to the society.
Right. And so also, what was the like high level discussion points or the outcome points that were being discussed there? Like just a high level, if you can put some light
Oh,
quickly.
it was just about like just thoughts on women in engineering or women in STEM, and then there were other such women who are like in this field, in STEM field especially. So I guess collectively just having our thoughts together at one page.
Okay, okay. And what's your perspective of like how empowering women in STEM and AI as a field? And it was only STEM earlier, now it's STEM and AI. So yeah, I mean, any thoughts on this, and what uh, I mean, are we doing enough? Are we doing ensure more diversity, more inclusion? So what's your thought? I mean, or experience has been till now from that angle.
Um, Yeah, at least with my observation, personal observation, that I see more women coming up and like pursuing a career in STEM, which is pretty motivating to see, especially how difficult it would be just to start a career in engineering. When I imagine, a couple of years back, and versus what's going on now. I guess it's more about like ease of technology and access to it, which has grown. And in this case, I would say like social media has played a good role in terms of like promoting these certificate programs or like expedited programs online, promoting to learn and grow their businesses. So I guess more or less people are using AI everywhere now, be it to it's like a small business in India, or like even just doing some social media campaign. So I guess everybody is very familiar about now ChatGPT or Canva, or like other technologies which revolve around AI. So it's pretty motivating to see that more and more people are coming into it, and like it's a healthy use of technology, I would say.
Okay, good. Good. So, lastly, one of the important things our audience would be curious putting in a summary. Someone, for example, let's say I'm a aspiring healthcare data professional, right? Uh, there are tons of information out there. The challenge is not anymore about that information is less. The information is too much. um, Something which you would advise that I should pick that first, uh, you know, to navigate into this area of healthcare AI.
I guess, firstly, understanding the job market, firstly, that if you want to set foot into this industry, are you prepared for it in terms of like the data itself? So there's so many open source data that's available, which is related to healthcare. Why not try a personal project on that, which kind of like was my personal exercise when I was trying to get into healthcare AI. definitely keeping eyes wide open and trying to see in real world setting how can you um, tailor any machine learning model to needs of patient care. Uh,
Okay.
Again, coming from a personal experience, this is what I observed that if you are personally or like on a first hand basis, if you're observing something that can be a a live product, that'll be very interesting to think about it. And
Yeah.
thirdly, it would be like be ready to be a student because like again, it comes with its challenges in terms of like the domain expertise that's required. It's great that if
Right.
you have some background in it, but don't be discouraged if you don't, because I guess um, it really comes with the years of experience once you're into it. But to get started, I would definitely encourage someone to go out there and like have a good idea about like novel machine learning models that are out there. Google Health releases a lot of information on it.
Okay.
Big tech giants are also working on it. So there are a lot of publications out there which gives a fair idea about how things are working currently. And then getting some hands-on experience with some personal projects is advisable, because if you are able to understand some sort of like electronic medical records, which is great, because that's like used a lot, or like even chest x-rays or like CT scans. So some of these data sets are open source and available. So get your hands dirty on it. And I guess LinkedIn again is a very collaborative community. So don't shy away from reaching out to professionals there. People do help, and it's very collaborative again to get advice from people who have been in this industry. So yeah, that will be something I would advise to people who want to get into healthcare AI.
Thank you, Priyanka, for this, for your insights. So, one of the insights that I for sure got is the domain expertise, especially when it comes to healthcare AI, is really really important. And it's see, as being a ML engineer, be a you have to actually dig through all of that. It's not just the code. It's not just the data processing, but it's more than that, right? So that's the one insight that I've received. Second, someone who is looking to get started, uh, they have to do some hackathons, internship to translate whatever the theoretical knowledge they have received, and so to enable the organization to gain confidence in you, so that they can hire you and all. Uh, anything else that you want to, like, third point you want to highlight here, like, as a more important point here, as part of the summary, out of all the insights that you've shared?
I believe it's more like also um, the the learning curve should not stop. I would say like be ready to spend your weekends on like Coursera binging sessions, because you need to understand that what's going on in the industry setting. It can be of course very daunting, and to keep up with it, the only way is to like practice and learn. um, so yeah, like just keep up with the speed of this tech evolution.
So the continuous learning is something
Yes.
is something is one of the another takeaways. Okay, cool,
Mhm.
cool. So, uh, what is the best way to reach out to you in case they have questions? The audience has questions. So, one, for the professional, collaboration. Second, more from a learning perspective, is the same 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 channel or different channels? Like, what could be the channel to reach out to you?
Oh, quickest would be like reaching out on my LinkedIn, which is with my name, Priyanka Makijani. And uh, yes, if there is some interesting opportunity, then I would definitely respond to that. And of course, we'll be very, very happy to mentor or like even give some vocational guidance of people pursuing in this industry, be it healthcare or not healthcare. Just plainly a computer science graduate would want to ask certain questions around that, because my background is in computer science, basically. So we'll be very happy to have a chat. And yes, yeah, that's all.
That's so grateful of you. Thank you. Thank you, Priyanka.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, cool.